Hey guys, Bonnie from Dwelling Logs here. I felt like I needed to come on YouTube and chat. I feel like I've had some content in my brain. What I don't want to do is come on YouTube and like have some kind of weekly schedule and rattle off stuff that's going to waste someone's time. So I have actually taken a huge break from like just posting in chat and like nothing kind of videos. I shouldn't say nothing because I hope that this topic is really going to be good and really fruitful conversation. But I have been jumping on here to tell you guys about sales and new units that I'm making and stuff like that. I think I'm getting better because I'm getting some really good feedback lately on my units that I'm making, my family lessons. But I'm not here to do that today. Today I actually want to talk to you guys about what we have been doing for screen time and really not having screen time or not as much. Let me tell you about it. Okay, so how long has it been? We started in July, August, September, October, November. We're finished December. We're almost finished January. We've gone 7 months with a huge screen change in our house. So I would say that we have been a heavier screen family in the past. Not to the extent of some people that I know, but like definitely more than like the doctors prescribe 30 minutes a day, for each child. It's just not something that I thought was necessarily important. Not so much like I was a little, I guess, less concerned about the health benefits and not benefits, like the health hindrances is what I'm trying to say. And I was less concerned about that and more thinking about like, well, what else would we do with our time? Like we never put screen, or we always tried not to put screens into priority times. Like we always made sure you gotta do your school before you can have screens. In fact, that was a huge motivator for so long. If you can finish school, finish it early even, you can have screens after that. And that actually worked like so well for getting math done, getting grammar done, getting through our books really fast. Yeah, that was awesome. I also went through a season of very high working hours, like very high, like 60 to 80 working hours a week, and then like 40 to 50 hours a week, like a longer stretch season like that. And screens was kind of like we had to. Like I had younger kids, and if I was going to keep my job, I had to have something that the kids weren't going to make a mess and make the house like a 3-hour cleanup job. So if you're in that place, this isn't not a judgment video at all. This isn't meant to be like, oh, you should do what we're doing, or this way is a better way, even though it has been for us. But we had to make some big life changes. I had to quit my job. I quit the job that I was doing in order to work less. And that was a big start in us needing screens less. Needing screens, I know all of this is relative. There might be a lot of opinions on that. Anyways, but the biggest thing was I thought, well, what are we going to do with the time if we don't? Like after supper, I didn't always do the dishes, but even if I did the dishes after supper, like it's a great time to watch TV. We'll watch TV, have a little couch time as a family, and then go to bed. I don't want to do this too much. Here's the thing too, you have to know, I really think that screen time family movies is awesome. We still do that every Friday night. Okay, so this isn't going to be like, oh look, we detoxed completely. We don't do any screens at all. We threw out our TV. We didn't. But let me get in to tell you kind of our journey and where we are right now. So at the beginning, before we started adjusting lots of screen times, we prioritized good things over screens, but we still had lots of screen time. Tablets, small devices, like they weren't hooked up at all, but we would have like our small old phones for the kids to watch things on or play little games on. Those were great for travel. We've had a ton of travel because I have a medically compromised kid. We've put on so many miles on the highway. And so those kinds of things just kind of had to be there for our, one of our hospitals we had to go to is 10 hours away. So don't judge me. I gotta have my screen in my car, So anyways, I'm just re-listening and editing right now, and I realized that I never really finished my thought about the car. Yes, we still have screens in the car sometimes, but we have actually had many like medium length road trips, like 4 to 5 hours, where audiobooks is our new thing. We don't even need screens anymore. My kids love audiobooks. Read the Green and Amber series. Top recommendation from my kids. So that was one thing that was happening. If I can gather my thoughts. I didn't want to edit this video too much. I wanted it to be a little bit raw. Anyway, so then we had those. We had tablets. We didn't have any kind of desktop. We didn't really use our laptop computers at all. TV, we had Netflix, and I had Amazon Prime without knowing it for so many years. I had no idea you could get TV with that. So Netflix primarily, and like VHS movies and DVDs. So we didn't have cable or anything like that, but the kids watched a lot of specific YouTube channels that I approved. I'm not a big fan of kids YouTube. I just don't like it. But they would have to approve a channel with me if they wanted to watch something new. Otherwise, they stuck to approved channels. And yeah, different movies and DVDs that we had in our house that obviously were approved that way anyways. So then it came to a head this summer when in June, my husband and I had both been thinking, but not talking yet, that we really were sick of how much time our kids were spending on screens even after their schoolwork was done. Like, even if they were pretty good at saying, like, can you stop for a second and do this chore? And they would do it and go back. Like, we didn't have to fight with them too much at all, but it was just a lot of time on screens. And what we were finding was we wanted them to get outside more specifically. Outside was a huge goal for us. My husband grew up in the farm just a half mile north of here, and he was like, I spent all my waking free time out there, and I loved it, and I want my kids to have those memories too. And I too have a lot of outside time memories. And what we found was our kids liked outside, but they were always like, how long do we have to go outside before we can come back in and watch our YouTube or our screens? And so, just being honest, that's how it was. And we negotiated a lot. Everything was a negotiation. We'll go out for an hour and you can have 15 minutes of screen. But even if the screen to outside ratio was really in the outside's favor, I still just hated the negotiation. I hated that we were only enjoying outside in order to get to the screen. Like the end game was always the screen time. And I can't just balk at my kids at this. I love screens. I love movies, like, so much. If someone asks me, like, book or the movie for me. So obviously these are the children of me. So, I mean, I'm just being honest here and real. So in June we had a talk about, like, I said, like, I think I want to do something extreme. And he's like, yeah, I think we should too. And I never thought my husband would be on board for a screen detox. And I don't know if he thought, I don't think he expected me to come up with that idea. I think he thought I probably wouldn't want to. And just to be clear, like, I still, had Instagram and used my phone for emails and different things like that. But we did a screen detox in July, which cut me off from scrolling. Then there's different things like I did, like I took Facebook, the app Facebook off my phone. I still kept Instagram there because that's like for like on my dwelling log site. That's kind of where I am the most to check messages and stuff, but I didn't scroll. Anyways, but for the kids and for our family, what we did is in July, we did a screen detox and we timed it perfectly with a week that the first week of July, we were going to the lake for swimming lessons. And at the lake, we were going to stay there for an entire week, the kids and I, and there's no cell service up there. So the great news was the only thing that I can do with my phone, the only use it is to me, is to take pictures. And I took a few pictures through the week, and that was it, like not even that many. And so it was just like this beautiful start to our detox, because even I wasn't on my phone and I wasn't saying, oh, it's just business, you guys, mommy's on just for business. Like there was none of that needed because we were actually out of service. So I highly recommend, if this is something that you're mulling around in your mind, consider like a little getaway or doing it at a time when you're like maybe at a cabin or like, I don't know what it's like where you live, but where I live, you can find spots without cell service all over the place. Okay, so we were at the lake, so we had a week detox there. The kids didn't complain because we're at the lake. There's lots of distractions. There's swimming lessons. There's friends. There's biking. That was a really good, easy start. Then when we came back, what we decided was we were going to have no screens at all the month of July. And so that meant no TV, no YouTube, like nothing for the kids, no games. When we went to Grandma and Grandpa's house, we said no, none of their screens either. So it just kind of created this hard and fast thing. We didn't do like a soft ease into it. We just kind of went cold turkey. The only thing we kind of gave to our children was that we were going to have a meeting at the end of July, a family meeting, and discuss what August would look like. We made zero promises of what August would look like. We didn't say if we were going to bring screens back. We didn't say if we were going to keep it the same. We just said we're going to have a meeting and we're going to all talk together. We want to hear your thoughts, and then mommy and daddy are going to decide what's next. And we would get their opinions also on what they thought the plan should be, but ultimately my husband and I would make the decision. So then we had a meeting in July, and in August what we decided was we'd keep everything exactly the same, except on Friday nights we would watch a movie together as a family. One movie, make popcorn. That's kind of like our thing. And to be honest, in there somewhere we did have some sickness. My son was in the hospital, and so I allowed him screens in the hospital bed because he was like in ICU. So I'm not going to say no to him there. So disclaimer, I mean, sometimes life happens and screens come in, I guess. But for August, the plan was 0 screens, 1 family movie a week, and that's what we did for August. Then it was just really good because I think what some key takeaways for that, I think it really meant a lot to the kids that we wanted to hear their thoughts. So we were keeping our authority in decision making, but we were not like lording over, you know what I mean? And so I think that was a really beautiful combination. And like I don't know if I mentioned before, my kids are 4, 7, and 9. So I mean, my 4-year-old just kind of goes and does what she wants, like as far as like goes along with the crowd. But my 7 and 9-year-old really had a lot to input and a lot to say, and I think that they really appreciated that we heard them and that we wanted to hear what they had to say and what their ideas were and things like that. And so at the end of August we had another meeting, and what we decided then was that we would keep our family movie nights, and they would get 1 hour of free screen time on Saturdays. So this was October, September. September was family movie nights and 1 hour of screen on Saturdays. Now, I will also put another disclaimer. We did cheat sometimes there were some Sundays where we had another family movie. That happened once in a while, but there was 0 independent screens except for that 1 hour on Saturday. I'm going to pause to just say here, there is a difference between community screens and in independent screens. I really don't like independent screens. Independent screens, it isolates you. Even if you enjoy what you're watching or you learn what you're watching, someone else didn't learn it beside you. You can't converse about it. You can maybe regurgitate it to your family, but you can't converse about it. And you don't build memories with anyone. And so, like, honestly, when I think about different screen time, I just hate YouTube. I'm recording a YouTube video right now. So think about that, I guess. If that's niggling at your conscience, maybe just shut this off. But individual, like, just one person watching when there's other opportunities out there, that's dangerous. I would far rather them turn on the Nintendo Switch and play Mario Kart, because we laugh, we joke, the kids jump all over the room. It's like active, and it's memory time together. I have amazing memories with my friends playing Mario Kart. I also have amazing memories of my friends going outside and playing and stuff like that too. But I'm not anti-video game. I'm just not. I mean, I'm not anti the action of it. There are certainly games that I wouldn't, have in my house. But that being said, it's a community screen time. And so movies are kind of like the middle of the road, where you can do it together, but you don't really say much. So anyway, they're kind of in the middle. So in September, I remember there were some cheat days or cheat weekends where we had more than one family movie. But again, still no cheating with screens as far as having extra additional screen time off by yourself at all. So then September's meeting came around, and then in October, buddy, if you can help me remember what we did in October, we had our family movie night. I think we increased it to 2 hours on Saturday, and that was the change. Is that right?
I think so.
You think so? Okay. So we increased it to 2 hours on Saturday. So that was another increase. Now, at this point, my husband and I were thinking, man, we're not going to just increase every month until we get back to the way we were. We don't want that. But still, we felt that things were, really progressing. By the end of September, my kids were not whining anymore. They were not whining about like, oh, can I have screens and begging. Like, that had long stopped. I know that that's something that you kind of have to get through at the beginning, But believe me, if you are consistent and you can get this far, like especially like in month 4, we were like, oh yeah, like it's normal life now finally. So I love that. I really, really love that. And then so then in November, the other thing that we added was a 1 hour on Fridays after school was done. So the total screen time the kids had a week was 3 hours, plus our family movie. And then this was really cool. The last family meeting that we had, which I believe was the end of November, we asked the kids, what change do you want to see? And do you know what they asked us? Do you know what they asked for? They asked for a game night, like a board game night, like on a table with, family and talking and games. Oh, I was so proud. Like, I was so proud. I was so proud of you, buddy. My son's just like behind the camera. I was so proud of you. So that was really, really exciting. So what we try to do, don't always get it done, but we try to do a game on Sunday. The last week we've been playing games like all kinds of days of the week. But here's what I found, okay? So going through December, I really, really noticed something. And I noticed that after supper during weekdays is a world of difference. The kids play. They get into the dress-up box way more. They're always dressing up, chasing each other around, making up games. Their creative and imaginative play has just soared. I've always felt like I've been a good mom in this area, like encouraging the creative and imaginary play. But oh my goodness, with the evening time, and that like they're kind of restless, they don't want to go to bed yet, they're watching the clock, when's bedtime, what should we do? It just inspires them to play more. The Lego, of course, has been used like crazy. We also have had times where we're just like sitting around the living room reading. I'm reading. That's so weird. Like, I'm not a book person, but it's like, well, if screens aren't an option, I did the dishes already. Let's sit down. I kind of want some chill time. And my mind in June was like, oh, I need some chill time. Let's turn on the TV and just like have a little mental break. And first of all, it's very stimulating. We could get into all of that. But secondly, it's just, I wasn't wired enough or even like unwired enough to let myself have some downtime that's quiet, that isn't in front of a screen. Like sit down, read a book, sit down. And one evening we were sitting around doing handicrafts. And I was like, who are we? So anyway, I wanted to share this kind of journey with you guys because I feel like in June, I was a mom who believed we could detox. I really did. I thought we could do a detox, but I did not expect it to last. I did not expect it to be long term. I did not expect it for my kids to stop asking to go back to the way it was. I didn't expect them to be content, at 3 hours of screens a week. So my encouragement, whatever parameters you're setting, my encouragement is that you might not know what life looks like without screen time or without the same kind of routines that you have now with screens and parameters. But I guess just know that it can look different. It can surprise you. Like, know that that's a possibility. You might be shocked. With that, I would say you gotta give it time and consistency. If you do things even for just 1 month, I didn't see the results in 1 month that I saw after 2. After 1 month, I probably would have said, whew, that was really healthy for us, but really hard. Let's relax again. Let's go back to the way it was. I would say the positives started and like the less begging and all that stuff kind of petered out after around 2 or 3 months. So I think a great mark is 90 days. If you could do something for 90 days with your family, and again, have those increments where you have family meetings, hear their feedback, let them be honest with you. You get to be the judge. You can tell them you're making the decisions, but give them hope. Say, you know what? I still want to know what you think. I still am going to listen to you and your reasoning too, and the things that you'd like to do with your time. So Anyway, I actually, honestly, this is so great. I actually looked back into my YouTube videos because I thought I must have posted about this already because it's been so great and super relevant for a channel like mine. And I look back and I can't see any posts about it at all. There's no videos. So I was like, well, you know what? It's time to chat to my phone for a little while and post this. So I hope this is really encouraging, and I hope that screen time is something that you can evaluate, throw off the guilt about, but also if you need some motivation to make a move, make a move. And yes, one of the key pieces probably was getting my husband on board, and I didn't even really have to try because he was already thinking this. But if you and your husband can be on board, it's much better. Honestly, though, like my husband works a lot. He's out of the house. It probably wouldn't have made a huge amount of difference if he didn't really care. Like if it was kind of all on me, I probably still could have walked this avenue with the kids and screen time and everything like that. But my husband isn't the kind of guy who comes home from work and turns the TV on either. So I understand that could be a little bit challenging too. But something to talk to him about. Talk to your husband about it. Make some family decisions. But definitely, it's definitely worth the try. Pray about it. Think about it. And I hope this was really encouraging. And yeah, it's just possible. Like, can I just say that? I really, really want that to come through. It's so possible for your kids to like life with less screens. And it's possible to really enjoy quiet moments, even though you're used to being stimulated and you really, you like your bingey shows and stuff like that. And it also, like, I don't know, you can binge too. The other week, on a Sunday, I actually binged Pride and Prejudice, 1980. So, like I'm not saying, oh well, like now we're just like, it's like a biblical rule for us or anything like that. But on the regular, every day, we are really happy to be done our screen adjustments. We're in a really good season and a place right now to be like, this is how it is. These are the parameters. And outside of that, get creative. Get bored if you have to. Anyway, that is enough of that. We'll talk to you next time.